You're a regular around here, and we're here in LA, and it's still pretty nice here. It's chilly. It's pretty warm, so I hope you warm up around the fireplace. So everything that you see, all the tricks we do, the tips we do, the personal questions about your individual issue, it will be able to review again later. So you also know that you can contact us between classes. That's one of your benefits with Lacers. Israel will put our 800 number and our email in there. You can contact the shop. Just wondering if something's a virus or a scam email or just any basic questions. You have some time allotted for you, and just mention you're with Lacers. You go to the top of the list. So I'm going to start with the vinegar. And I think it's a good time. We're not at New Year's resolutions yet, right? We're still now eating the cake and all the spiced rum cake. But passwords are a thing, and they're still a thing. And we talk about it a lot, and we usually get to the end because nobody really wants to talk about it. There's a couple of methods for passwords. In this class, I've often recommended making a normal Word document. The way you would make a Word document, just when you're working for the city, you'd open your file, new document, password list, Apple to Zoom, A to Z. And this way you have a grip on all your passwords out there. There's different ways to look around, different websites you've used in the past. Once you have those passwords in front of you, in some semblance, I've also been recommending in this class that we use Google. Everybody gets a Google account and starts using Google. Google has a fantastic password manager, and you might even be using it already if you're a Google user. So we're going to review the password manager in Google Chrome, as well as where you might have been saving them in Safari and perhaps Microsoft Edge. So today we'll start with password managers, how to make a list in something you don't have to pay for, something that is yours already if you have a Google account. And if you don't have a Google account, you don't want a Google account, we can find some other ways. But this will be a general idea. Now, here's a little trick, a little segue. Who has a TV, a flat screen TV, who fumbles for their TV and looking for the remote? Who just has a couple of remotes sitting around there that have been on the tables, for 11 years that work? Who sometimes mixes up the remote with their, the cable remote with the television remote? If you have a smart TV, which a lot of people do, you can get an app on your phone, and you can use your phone as the television remote control. I did, for somebody the other day, their remote stopped working. They had a smart TV. It wasn't especially expensive, more than expensive than another TV. And we set the app up, the Samsung app, and on their phone now, they open it up, they go to an app, there's the on and off, there's the channel control, you go to Netflix or the smart TV apps, you can pause it, everything you can do right there. And you can do it from the other room too. You can do that just about anywhere you are. So we'll give that a little idea just to minimize those extra gadgets laying around the house. They'll have batteries, they'll have something in them. Next one, on your smartphone. I certainly hope you spend more time taking pictures with your phones of the good times ahead over the next few days, nothing cleaning them up. But when you are going to the different parties and the different things, and I hope you have some social times, how do you keep that organized? So you don't end up having 1,200 pictures, 7 of the same, the turkey on the table or the ham. How we can go through our photos in our photo app and on the phone, on the camera app, and delete and organize or make folders for those particular photos. And while we're on the phones, we'll do a little cleanup suggestion. And this you can think of just right now. On our phones, which, is our biggest computer, it's the one most of us use if you're a smartphone user. That's really it's just another computer. We have these apps. Many of them come with the phone. If you're an Apple iPhone user, raise your hand if you're an iPhone user. Raise your hand if you're an Android user. Ooh, not a lot of Android people today. Raise your hand if you still use a rotary phone. Okay, so
I rose my virtual hand.
There you go, the virtual. So we'll talk about on the iPhone or on the Android, looking for apps that you might have used once or twice. If you bought a ticket for Gold Star, so on and so forth, and how to delete those. That's good. We always do our scam busters. We have some tips about using your contact lists. We'll talk about physical device maintenance. That means who's using a CPU. That means who has a desktop and then a monitor connected to it.
Oh,
It was not a laptop or a tablet. It was got something stuck under the desk or under the table
I
behind there.
have one or two.
I
Okay.
have a desktop.
So, there's a fan on that CPU on that desktop, in the back of it, usually by the plugs. It's a really good idea to vac that out. And the reason is, it's just logic. Nobody's examining or judging your dust bunnies, folks. It's the concept that the fan gets filled with dust as normal, and it heats up that CPU eventually. It just heats up the device if it's on the floor. So turn it off, shut it down just in the normal way, vac out back, the behind there or around the fan, you might see some dust, and once a year, and that'll just keep it a little bit cleaner. I mean, I live off of Wilshire, and it's like, every day it's a blanket of soot, and so those are just some maintenance tips I want to give to you right now. Get those out of the way. We will talk about telemedicine. Anybody that's had any experiences this month seeing a doctor online, anything unique to that, and how to prepare for that, and then how to keep your computer clean. The keyboard, the one that you pick for your phone. Who remembers going to the pay phones, free smartphone, just walking over to that phone impatiently? And who remembers going to this phone and putting that thing in your ear and it was still warm from the last dude, from the last and like, you remember that? It was like a thing. And like now, like how we didn't have COVID in 1982, I don't know. Like from all that transference. But nevertheless, your phone is meant to be kept clean. There are certain, you can buy things to keep it clean. You can go on Amazon, buy covers and protectors, or just use some basic stuff around the house. But it's something to be conscious of. And I have some other things for the laptop or the keyboard screen. So let's get started with our password manager. Before we do that, let's see there. So I know it's a rough go. Who here, and let's be honest, I hear that if you're not completely honest with this, you have extra paperwork with next year's retirement plan. Who has a grip on their passwords? Who has an honest, who feels like if I said right now, what's your Aetna password, you can go? Okay, so did Sally put her hand up?
I did.
Okay, and so I see one hand up. Let's see, don't be shy. Like if I see Ratna has it.
I don't know what you mean.
Do you have the lacers.org password? We need to go in there and drop a PDF for the thing. So not everybody's putting their hands up. I think 2 or 3 people, Ratna, who I would expect to have a password manager, because she's almost a co-host. Noreen has a quasi password manager. She got the hand wave, maybe like the
I
big
use mine sometimes.
Right. So the good ones are there, but the rare occurrence, you might need one, for something, that you forgot about. Your mom's SoCal gas account or something like that kind of thing. So let's talk about this. This is a good thing to have. Not only for security, it's like a time consumer, and I think it lives on the back of everybody's head, where these things are. So my first suggestion always was to go and with a Word document. Let me share my screen. Open up a boring Word document, if you don't have this already, and make a password list. And really sit through the hard work. There's always time. Password list as of 12/20/22, and then start from the beginning. And if you have to go anywhere else, and if you don't have that, you want to do that on a pen or paper, it really doesn't matter. It just need to have a grip on it. Get a grip on the most of them. You think of your utilities, your banks, all the big stuff, all that stuff. Now, once you have that, and you have some semblance of it, that's a good thing. So you have Apple to Zoom, all the way down there. You have a long list. And the way I organize it, I usually go like that. The login, it would be my email. Usually it's your email address, or if it's something different, write it in there. And then the next one, I put the password as 1234, 1234 exclamation, whatever the password is, and so on and so forth. And I move down the list. Once I have that organized, that's just a matter of going through the papers and the scraps on the desk and different areas on your computer. And, that's just really is. There's really no way. And it feels good when you're done, if you're a little OCD. And if you're in computer class at 3:00 LA time on Christmas time, then you're like me. It's good to know these things, and it's good to change these things too. So You're going to go on there and make your list. Now, once you have that list, you can save that list normally anywhere you would save that list. So I'm going to save that list, and I'm going to just call it password list as of 12/2022. I'm going to put it on my desktop. There's my password list. Fair enough. That's all done now. There are ways that I could share it in Dropbox or the iCloud or OneDrive, so I can go to my telephone, my smartphone, click a button and get that. I could email it to a person that I care about that could have it just in case they need it. It's a static document, but it's in one place. What's also good is you can open it up again and add and change that. The next time you go to florist.com and you want to send something, you forgot that password. You take the time to go to the forgot password and you reorganize that. You go back to your password list, add it, change it, say password list as of January 2023. And you have that list. So that's a pretty manual way to go about it. And fairly safe, as long as you on your computer have a passcode, which means if your computer turns off, you turn it on and you see Jeanette Allen, she has to put in 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to get to questions in a moment, folks. I just want to throw this other part in there that I've never introduced yet. Nobody has it. Same thing with your phone. Here's the addition. Who here uses Google? Who here has a Gmail? Who here? I see a bunch of hands. All right.
I do.
Okay, so we've got a bunch of Gmailers here, Google accounts. I see some other hands. Google's a really good program. Who uses Google Chrome as their browser when they go on the internet? Okay. Who uses Safari as a browser? That's the Apple one. Who uses Microsoft Edge? Okay, not as many. All right, but this is the who uses Firefox? Mozilla. Jeanette, we're gonna have a special class for you after class. You're the first person in detention today. Oh, by the way, who's our new person again here?
Adrian.
Adrian, you're the new. Welcome to class, Adrian.
Hi.
You're welcome, and you're VIP if you're the new person, but you do have to send everybody Christmas pizza. That is the new person. So you'll be getting a Domino's link on your email, and you'll have to fill that out, and you'll be getting the special orders. But because it's Christmas, there has to be pineapple on there. So you'll be reimbursed next year at this time, I think. Very good. So welcome. So now, if you're using Google Chrome, if you're a Google person, they like to give you a lot of things. They like information, and they're really good at saving passwords. So they have a password manager, which means if you have Google Chrome on your computer, whether it's a Windows computer or a Mac computer, or if you have an Android phone or an Apple phone, Google Chrome's on there, you can show your passwords. So let's work on the computer to show you something. I'm going to go to close our document now. I'm going to open my browser, and I'm going to go here to Google Chrome. I'm just going to open a normal Google Chrome page. I'm going to type in password manager. And then you see my first link says manage passwords. Because I'm signed into my account, Google's very smart. They know I have a password list. Here are all my passwords. So now, these are, as you can see, some of them are, I don't even probably remember. Better.com. I have no idea what I did at better.com. DMV, I can see on there. Some are obviously important. Different things going down. So there's all my passwords. Now, let's say I want to look at one of them. Let's see one that I don't mind looking at. Let's look at better.com. You can all go and hack my better.com. I want to see what that looks like. It's going to ask me my computer's password. That's the one you use to log into your computer. It's called the admin password. I'll click on that. And there's, oh, look at that. Look what it's on my mind. Retire in 2022 exclamation. I'm not going anywhere, folks. 2022 is almost over, so it's not going to work. But there's my password. Now, secondary, if I want to add a password manually, I could go to lalala.com. My username would be my email address, Elijah@123.com. We'll say it's Gmail. The password is 123 exclamation. And I could save that password. And then it would auto-populate. That means when I went to a website like, let's see, shopping, right? If this is going to get the questions, let's see if I go to eBay. No, eBay is not going to be a good example. Travel. Let's go to Priceline. I use Priceline. So go to Priceline, and I'm already signed in. So there, it's already has my password signed in because it's in my password list, and then I can sign into Priceline. It's called autofill. So the way we find that in Google is a couple ways. You open up a normal Google page. There's 3 dots on the side. We go to settings. And then we go to autofill. And then there's your password manager. That's the long way home. And there are all your passwords. So if you looked in there, you probably have some passwords, maybe whether you chose to or not. Might have been something that you did. But this is fine. That means if you're on your phone, you open up Google Chrome browser, which you've installed on any device, and you type in password manager.
Oh, type in password.
And it will show up and you can see your passwords.
Oh, Elijah,
Yes, let me stop sharing because it is a good time to talk. Yes.
what is the difference in Google Chrome and Google? Could you tell me again?
Okay, so this is a great question. So let's do some questions now. And by the way, what I just showed you, you can do in Safari. If you're an Apple person, it all has its own password manager. They're all competing for your business. Our idea is to find one centralized place, if that's possible in life, to have one place to call home for this stuff. So Google is a big, giant company. Here's an early tech question. Boss, heads up. Google started as an early tech company. I know all my retirees here that work for the city worked with this when they first had computers. Who knows what Google's name was before it was Google? It was how you search the internet. Anybody want to take a stab? Don't Google it. Don't Google it. This has got to come organically. I think I saw Hazel Harris fingers were almost on GOOG. So
Alphabet?
Alphabet's the newest one. That's the latest incarnation. When I say that, it'll blow your mind because it was a common word you had in your head all the time. Are you ready? Netscape.
Oh, Netscape.
Netscape Explorer.
That's
That
right,
was
it was
your, remember
Netscape.
Netscape, that was those the same CEOs of Alphabet, which is Google, are Netscape. That was them, same cats. So anyway, Google's a huge company. Inside of Google, they have many products. Google is a company that develops several products. And many of those products are like all your computers. They have Google Docs, which is like Microsoft Word. They have Google Sheets, which is like Microsoft Excel, all things you've worked with. They have screen sharing programs just like Zoom called Google Hangouts. There's a gazillion products. As a matter of fact, it looks like this. For all you non-believers, let me share my screen. If you go to Google, a normal Google page, and you look to the right here, you'll see a grid of boxes, a grid of dots. You can move our class picture. You can slide your Zoom picture around. That's not in there. In those dots, you'll see different apps. These are all products. Google Drive, a place to store things. This is the word processor, Gmail, we all know. I run Google Ads, Calendar, Contacts, YouTube, they own YouTube, Google Chat, you can make forms. You get even more so. Slides is like PowerPoint. You have a meeting, Google Photos, everybody knows. Google Maps is an awesome, everybody works with Google Maps. But not everybody, Google Hangouts. So they have lots, Google Earth. So they have lots of different apps they work with. So that's when I say using Google Chrome, it means you have a Google account. You logged into Google using Google Chrome. You mean on your computer, you've downloaded the Google Chrome app. But you don't have to. If you're in Safari, let me open Safari now. And I'm going to back up here. So let's say you're an Apple person. And you open Safari. So I'm in Safari. And I like Safari. I don't want to download Google Chrome. Doesn't matter. You can go to google.com. Whoever's mic'd up over there, you might want to mute yourself. and now I'm in Google. I'm signed into my account. I have the same apps. As long as you're signed into Google, you can go to Google on any browser. So password manager, Google Docs, Google Sheets, they're all products that Google provides. And to get them, you just simply have to have a Google account, which means a Gmail. Essentially, the price of admission is setting up a Gmail account. I want to go for some questions. Miss Jeanette Allen.
Okay, I put my question in the chat because I knew
I
it.
can read it. Let me go back here. I see Russ here. Let me back up here, Jeanette. How do you use the QR code? Was that?
Oh, yeah, that was a question I forgot already. I had two questions.
We're moving fast. We're right now. Let's do any email, any Google questions.
Okay, so my question for this part is, for the password manager, how safe is it to keep the information on the Keep Notes on the phone? Keep Notes app.
So does everybody know what Keep Notes is? Keep
No.
Notes is a
Nope.
is an app that is provided by Google. And imagine having this app on your computer and your phone inside of Google, and you make a note on your phone, and you open up that same app on your, pardon me, you make a note on your computer, you open up that same app on your phone, and there's the note. You can make an app on your, you can open the app on your phone, make a note, and there it is on your computer.
I didn't even know it was Google and that I could do
So-
it on my computer.
Yeah, it's a way to share notes. It's fine. I think it's no less secure. It's a little more archaic and less organized.
Hmm.
Because you're making your own list. It's a blank document, basically. It's a note. And so you're rating password manager and making notes. So the reason I'm using the Google password manager is because it's sort of organized.
Hmm.
It's a way for you to go through. It's preset. And by Google, who's pretty, they don't want your stuff compromised.
What about the note app that comes on the phone?
So who's speaking?
Irene,
Irene, what kind of phone do you use, Irene?
the Apple 12?
So that's fine. Notes is like Keep Notes, but in the Apple environment. It's just fine. It's the same
Okay.
thing. It's a blank note between devices. It shares, but it's not organized.
Oh, okay.
Let me show you. There's some Apple people here. Let's take a moment to give Apple people some love here. Let's show you how Safari works in the same concept. So I'm going to share my screen. I'm now going to open Safari. I happen to be using an Apple. Safari is a little more challenging, just a tad. Everybody can see my screen. I'm going to go to Safari. I'm going to go to Settings. In here, this says Passwords.
Lucan's personal.
To see my passwords, I have to type in my computer admin password. That's the one I use to turn it on. And now I don't use Safari for my passwords very much. There's some older ones in here. You can see my password.
hello.
You see all these?
Oh, yeah.
Still a bunch in there, and you can manipulate them this way. Yeah, obviously these are really old. And these warnings means it's just been a long time. It's last modified, long ago, but I don't use this. I should clean these out. This would be a good note for me to go here and start choosing some of these. Let's start.
And
with-
so that's on your Safari on your Apple device.
Exactly. And you can find that on your Apple device, on your Apple computer or your phone, your smartphone or tablet.
Wow, I
Okay.
didn't even know Safari had all that.
Yeah, it does. It does. The reason I like Google, and it is weird because it works well with iCloud, is because Google lives in the middle of everything. Like it doesn't take much, to say everything in Google. It's like a middleman, So that's been my choice. But if you're going to use Safari, by all means, use it. If you're an Apple person, use the Safari device. It works just fine. We have Uma, you have your hand up.
So Elijah, how safe is to save those passwords though? Because it can hack, anybody can, even you are so careful, but
How do you
if
save
it
them
goes
now,
in the
Uma?
wrong hand,
How do you save your passwords now?
manual,
What does that mean? Like a piece
I
of
have
paper?
written down on piece of
How
paper.
safe is that?
I keep it in the safe.
You know what I mean? All things being
That's
said.
a
like, you
good
could
one,
get to that.
Oma. That's a good one, Oma. You keep it in the safe. I like that.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know, like, in Monotech, if that's any safer in reality. Like if you can't get to them, fire, flood, those kind of things. you're not accessible. I mean, you literally can't do it. You can't share them. Nobody else has them. I guess my point of that is that I don't think it's any less safe than putting it in your safe, which is a good place to have them, by the way, and somebody else have access, but I do not think it's any less safe than any other thing you use on the internet.
No,
Well,
but
I'm
on the
old school.
internet, how safe it is, because even though computer gets hacked or phone, if you have phone, and people are smart, they know where to find the password.
You know,
So,
Right, that's
I
right.
think that my sense is just from running a shop is not having the passwords in a centralized place is usually more hazardous than keeping them in like a dark place. Because there's just no way to keep up with the amount of passwords and password changes and yearly changes. So on my shop level, I understand the fear of the internet. I by all means do, but here it is. We're 25 years into it. And I believe the Google Password Manager is a perfectly fine and safe place to use it. I mean, realistically, if you go on a website and you type in your password and you don't save it, it's already saved somewhere.
yeah,
It's not, I mean, it's not like you've dodged the bullet and went under the turnstile.
that's true.
You know what I mean? Like, just the price of admission on this whole thing is
Mhm.
some level of trust,
Yeah. Oh,
you
thank
know?
you.
You
Well,
know,
I'm
I get
old
it, but I get
school.
it.
I'm old school, Elijah. I still have some of those steno notepads from when I worked. Not that I was the secretary of did any steno, but I
Let me paint a picture.
wrote my notes in them. All
Mm.
my passwords are in those notepads.
They're in a notepad next to Miss
When I
Mill's desk.
travel, I take them with me. There's things when I go online and order stuff, Google do come in wanting to know if I want them to save my password, and I tell them no. But there's other Google things that I have no choice but them keeping my password.
So again, that's a great method. I just had to have a picture of you having your stenos next to you on a desk. There's a 1886 pearl handled Colt 45 sitting right on top of them.
No, go
You know what I mean? Like a bottle of
Go
whiskey,
45 is
Nebraska,
not
some
my
kind of
type.
corn husker whiskey sitting there, and nobody's getting my passwords. Now, of course, that sounds, of course, whatever works, works. But realistically, that's a static document, physical document that you're traveling with, that you're moving with. That to me just sounds, I mean, both methods work good, but I would prefer, you know, and you being my mom, Miss Moore, respectfully, that
Watch
they're
it.
on, you know, respectfully, having those in a central place where I could get to them, you know, as your kid, as your caretaker, as your somebody you
Well,
can trust.
see, I don't have that problem here because it's just me.
And anyway, that's my point. That's the
Yeah,
point
I
of the
don't-
password manager.
I don't have that problem here since it's just me. Even when my sister would ever come over, she don't know where I keep stuff at, and I don't tell her.
Okay.
I only put it on my
For those
medical
without
stuff
a-
as a point of contact.
So with those without an 1886 pearl handle John Wesley Harding custom made shotgun, I feel strongly that those steps are important. The most resistant one is get yourself a piece of paper, whether it's on a Word document or on a legal tablet in front of you, and get your passwords together in one place.
And also, Elijah, I
yes,
don't think we're
please.
ever 100% scam free. It's like me, I'm old school. I won't shop on the internet because I'm like, okay, I don't want to give my credit card and this and that. I still write checks, and my daughters laugh. They're like, well, your bank account number and your routing number, everything is on your check. So who's to say wherever the destination is, they're going to get what they're going to get.
She's so right. I mean, she's so right. I mean, but she's right. I mean, what more can I say? Your daughter's write a paper check. I can remember up to about 10 years ago, I would bring a check to Ralph's even once in a while. You know, like it was still in my head. You know, maybe a little longer than 10 years ago. You know, my mind's playing tricks on me.
Well, you can all laugh at me because I still write checks because I
Right.
don't want to give my credit card over the internet.
But that just to me means I lost a credit card. I was out of town for work and I lost a credit card. Like, it's just gonna happen. I lose my breath.
There's
Go on.
such a thing, risk as check washing. You can deposit I had a check washed taken out of the mailbox and a new number put in, amount put in. And I said, wait, I didn't write, I saw my bank statement, I didn't write this check.
Yeah,
And it
so,
wa-
get my point, Peter's right. I mean, those checks.
Yeah.
I get it. We all get it. I'm pushing us here, okay? A lot of us
Yeah.
are stuck, but I'm a believer in getting these passwords together. And if you were using Google Chrome, saving a password in autofill is just fine. A matter of fact, check this out. One last little feature. Let's answer a couple more questions, then we'll move on. I can go into Google. They're so proficient, and I can go and type in passwords. And I can go to my Google Password Manager right here. And this list will show me my passwords. And I can open my $5 traffic school for my ticket, each password. And at first I'd have to, of course, go in and sign in with my password. And then I can go in here and I can delete it, edit it, and just remove it. And in this case, it's been a long time. I don't think I need that. I'm just going to remove that. And they have a password checkup tool. And they're going to look through mine. I have, look at this. Oh my goodness, people, they have busted me. I've reused my, I know we're all guilty of this. I've reused my passwords 4 times. And we all know we do that. We all know we do that. Let's be honest here. Otherwise, it won't get, you'll get coal under the Christmas tree or Hanukkah
Yeah.
this year. Okay, we all do that. And I have 76 accounts using a weak password. That means these are accounts, and some of these I use, obviously. Banjo Hangout, that's a great place for me. But so there's tools in here that are really helpful, folks. Okay, okay.
Sally has her hand up.
Sally, go ahead, Sally.
Okay, two things. At the beginning of each of our classes, is there a way we could take 5 minutes and just answer questions from our assignments you give us that we had trouble with, to clarify that? That would be my question. And on that note, you told us to clean up our downloads. And so I made a valiant effort to do that, so I would be able to say, yes, Elijah, I did it. But I couldn't. I went to Finder and I found the downloads, but I can't, you said to drag them. And the files are in my list on Safari, and it was beyond.
Let's take a step back here. Okay, so we have our passwords together, folks. We're going to take a step back and go, and because Sally is trying to impress us here, and I
No, I'm
appreciate
not.
Yeah.
With
Because
my
no, not
MS
impressed us that you've deleted your downloads.
Mhm.
So let's take a step back and let's segue. So as far as let's finish this topic up, Ellie, but we're going to get to that, and we're going to take some general questions. So as far as your password list goes, the commitment to yourself is to make that first piece of paper and get them in order. And another thing you can do along that line is you can go to your browser, Google Chrome, Safari, Microsoft Edge, and you can go to a normal website that you go to. You can type it in and look at your history and look at websites you go to that you sign in that you don't think of regularly, and put them all in that list. Because in January, we're going to talk about all these accounts that you have and updating your current email in each of those accounts. How many of you have a poor recovery email in your LADWP account to a ca.rr.com that's not being used anymore? So that's a part of this tale. So let's get your password list together. I'm going to go to Sally's question. I'm always pitching this because this is equally as important, keeping your computer clean and light, and not weighing it down with data and files you don't need. Sally, you're using a Mac, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so one of the issues I've talked about, and this can be done in a Windows computer or an Apple computer, is going through files. One of the files and folders that fills up are downloads. Your friend sends you a picture, of the holiday party with the cat jumping on the tree, and you click it, and now it's on your computer somewhere. and you look, and it's 2017, it's 2022, and you click, and oh my God, where'd that picture come from? You've downloaded a document or a PDF, something that you had to fill out from the office or the doctor, or retirement fund or whatever. So the first thing we're going to do here is share the screen and teach you how to do that, or remind us in Apple. I'm going to go to share screen. Now, I'm in an Apple environment over here. Let me minimize this. What you're going to do, Sally, in Apple, and this is going to be called the File Explorer in a Windows, is go to the Finder.
Yes, I did that.
And then there'll be a folder that says Downloads.
Yes.
Now, I keep my downloads pretty clean. In Downloads, I can go, I have a couple choices. I could take one of them. And I have, do you see the garbage can on my dock on the bottom of my screen? And where I keep all my items is on the
Yes.
side. I could manually, wrong click. I could manually drag that to the
Do
garbage.
you right click on your little
Are you
square?
using a trackpad or a mouse?
I'm using a MacBook Air with a little trackpad.
Okay, so let me show you another way. The trackpad fingertips sometimes get funky. I can highlight that. I
Okay,
can then go to File, and then move to Trash. Tell me if you see this. See that, Sally?
yes.
Yep.
I'm writing this down.
Oh, please, yeah, and there's gonna be the video. I'll make sure you get this video. And then I go to Move to Trash, and now that's thrown away.
Oh, wonderful. Well, now what if I wanted to move it to an existing file?
Okay, so let's say I have a folder here, and this folder says OE Lacers 2022. I wanted to go into that file. One way I could do it is simply drag it into that file once you get that finger moved down. The other thing I could do is open it up, and I could go over here, move to,
Oh,
and click and move to. I can go to Downloads, and I can look, or my desktop. And then in my desktop, I could look for that particular folder that I wanted to go into and just put it into that folder.
Okay, but that's where it broke down for me, because I have a list with Safari.
Well, you shouldn't be in Safari doing this.
No, but I have a list in Safari of folders.
Mhm.
And, it may be Temple, it may be Lacers, it may be medical, whatever. And I don't know how to get it. If I don't want to trash it, I don't know how to get it from the highlighting it after I click on downloads to that location. It's
Okay.
beyond me.
So let me show you. Sort of like saving a document in Word, even if you're on Windows. I'm going to open up a document over here. This is a receipt. And now I want to go save it. I'm going to move it to a pre-existing folder, right? Sally's event 2021.
Okay,
Do you see? I'm going to open the document. This is where I go to File,
okay,
Move to. Tell me if you see that.
okay.
And then I'll have a choice here. I don't want it to go there. I'm not going to go to Downloads. I've got to see where I want to put it.
But that's where it doesn't show up everything that I have as folders.
Well, and let me show you. These are listed on the very bottom. It says Other.
Other, okay,
And now it's going to open up my Finder, and where I could go and look at my desktop, which is everything. My documents, pictures, wherever I want. This is my Finder, just like we were looking at previously. So maybe you were missing that button.
okay, all right. I'll give it a whirl
Yeah.
again this week.
Open it up. File. Move to. Open up that menu. Scroll down, look at Other.
Okay,
Other will allow you to go look at your entire computer. all your folders, like, Sally's event 2003, or Blazer's contract, or logo files, or recovery codes. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you.
Right, you're welcome. It's just directing where you need your things to go. Now, does anybody, while we're on that topic, does anybody have that question in Windows? Does anybody have download folder in their Windows, Mac, Microsoft computer? That's overfill. Did I hear a yes?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna walk over and show you how to do it.
Elijah,
Yes,
I have a different question, not
Yeah.
this one. How to add contacts?
and contacts, just a general contact.
Yeah, general contact.
Okay, let me get to that next. I want to show you Windows people how to do this
Okay.
download.
Okay, okay, thank
Here we
you.
go. I'm walking over to my Windows computer.
Are you still with us, Elijah?
I'm very much with you.
Oh, you got mighty quiet on us.
Yeah, now I've got to go and share my screen.
I was wondering if you had to go to another neighborhood.
Okay, can you see this?
Yes.
You Windows people, your Finder is this manila folder.
Oh, yeah.
That's your index. That's the card catalog in days of yore from the library, that fine wooden card catalog that was polished, A to Z. You'll open your File Explorer. In my File Explorer, it's not different than an Apple. You'll begin the dirty secret that Apple and Windows are all pretty much the same. It's all design. So in here, I have a downloads folder. That's empty. I don't really have much in there. In here, I have some documents. So let's say, just like Sally, I want to take this and I want to put it in a different folder. I can simply drag it and put it in my downloads. And now it's in my downloads. Alternatively, I could open up the document, go to File, Save As, and I want to put it in my desktop. I'm going to name it Shipping Label Test. I'm going to save it, and now it's done. And there it is on my desktop.
Elijah, I learned how to do that early on, but I had a problem. I have a touch screen, and so sometimes I duplicated what I was doing, or I have duplicate information, or duplicate spots that these things are in. How do I untangle that?
So when you have duplicate documents,
Well, I might go to my I might go to my documents folder, and then I'll see the whole list that was the C drive all listed again.
okay, so this is a curiosity. And this is some more complex computer concepts here. You can see documents often like in your C drive or in a different part of your computer. Sorry, I've got some sun coming in this part of my office. It's not, you see how sunny it is, Miss Moore? And that C drive is just a mirror, which means your C drive contains the original document. However, you have a folder that you put it on, or you put it on your desktop. So it's not as though you have it twice. Is that you're looking at it in two different directories that say the same thing. So you don't have it twice. Your computer's saving it, and then from your computer saving it, you're seeing it in two different directories. What you want to use is the main directory, documents, downloads, folders. That's why it's always good to make a folder, folks. If you have more than 2 or 3 or 4 documents from things, make a folder. Keep it in the same place. If you're a person that downloads their LADWP statements, put it in the same place, or if you scan them, put it in the same place. I think that's a pretty important element over here. Does that make sense to that?
I'm having a problem saving.
Mine is still tangled because it's, I'll start going folder into the next folder, into the next folder, into the next folder, and then all of a sudden I see I'm repeating folders again. Like, so I'll get to Jeanette and then it will repeat some of the other things, but I haven't looked at it in a long time because it was just.
Yeah.
it's just-
Probably have too many
I can
folders,
live
Jeanette.
with it as it is, but maybe one day when I have nothing to do, I'll go back and.
You probably have too many folders. It's pretty easy to get an architecture, where there's one document, and then under that, there's a folder and another folder. I like to keep it clean. First of all, the best thing about going through these things is to delete things, folks. That's the gift of this. As you go through your downloads, find something. If you don't need it, delete it. Get rid of it.
I agree with that because on my old phone, now that I have a smartphone that I really don't like using, on my old phone, when I had told the T-Mobile, I'm under T-Mobile, that they're going to have to save all my photos, all my contacts, that they didn't have a choice. I told them they didn't have a choice. They told me, ma'am, do you know you got 800 and some photos on this phone?
Hold on, Ms. Moore, I'm gonna get to storage. That's a great topic. I want to roll through this continually though, but thank you for that. That's an important topic.
But I couldn't believe it. I says 800, but tuning into mom's computers and knowing that the more you have on that cell phone, the more space it takes. I deleted 187 so far of photos that I really didn't need.
That's great. Just delete. But for a matter of time, I want to push on to this because we got a half an hour left and we have some prizes to give away. But I want to go to some questions. We have how to add contacts from Voss, but let's talk about a big one here. From Peter. So we all know it's the end of the year. Some things get out of date. Some computers can't update anymore from Windows 10 to Windows 11, or from Apple Big Sur or Monterey to Apple Ventura, which is the latest one. So in that vein, from this random question from the Peanut Gallery, Peter says, I use Office 2016 and have Windows 10. When Windows 10 becomes unsupported, does that make Office 2016 also vulnerable?
Oh, good question.
The answer would be yes, but this is far from being unsupported, Peter. More people are still using Windows 10 than Windows 11, and 2016 Microsoft Windows is powering the business world and government. So you're a long way, but the answer is yes. When Microsoft stops supporting something like Windows 7, then it becomes vulnerable. It's just left out there. They don't have the power to go to your computer and remove it and say that's not safe.
Does Office, say you write a Word document and you're not putting it on the internet, is that vulnerable?
Word. Microsoft Word, if it becomes, you can't update, you can still update 2016 Word, the Microsoft Office. It's still a very viable product. But it gets to the point where it says Microsoft no longer supports the package that Peter bought, which was Office 2016.
Well, actually, it was installed illegally by my tech guy.
That makes it even more fun. So you would be vulnerable, is the point of that. But yes, when a product becomes out of date, it becomes vulnerable.
But I've gotten no indication to update my Office 2016.
If it's an illegal copy, Peter, they're not going to have your direct information,
So that makes it vulnerable now.
Yes. But for example, I don't know, you don't have to overdo this. By the way, I don't think anybody should ever go buy a Microsoft Office subscription again, now that we can go to Google and use Google Docs.
What does vulnerable mean exactly? What does that mean? That it's vulnerable.
It can be compromised.
Subject to viruses, worms.
Yeah, so let me give you an
Hacking.
example. I'm going to roll through this exactly. LAUSD had a hack, this year, a pretty ugly hack.
Yeah.
It came into a Windows print spooler, which is a part of Windows, an old Windows 10 program that never got updated. Doesn't mean it through you, but it just became something and they knew about it and they didn't get to it in time. So Peter, your answer is yes. And I recommend that to everybody. I mean, you're in good shape. Windows 10, 2016, I think you've got 2-3 years, but if, I am a fan of doing things the right way. And that's why I like Google. It doesn't cost anybody anything. We have another one.
Well, to be clear, does that mean if I'm using Word at home to do my minutes and I'm printing them out and I'm just using it at home, it's okay, but if I'm using it to send that Word document to somebody else and that leaves them open to having some kind of problem?
No, Peter's talking about the application that he has installed on his computer. If the Word application is an old version, does that make his computer vulnerable? You're talking about the finished product of the Word, I believe, of sending a document. Peter's talking about the actual Word application.
So is that also, Sam, because he has the 2016 and a Windows 10, he can use his Windows 10 for a few more years?
Yeah, absolutely. It's perfectly a good program. There's nothing wrong with it.
But
well, I'll say-
Elijah,
Yeah,
I have a question. So
yeah, go
like,
ahead.
last night, my computer told me to switch to 11. So should I have done that? Because I do have 10, but it kept saying you need to go to 11, but I didn't do it.
So,
should I-
Rhonda, congratulations. As like a Christmas present to yourself. If you have a Windows computer, it's a Windows 10 computer, and it allows you to go to Windows 11, by
Mhm.
all means, I recommend it.
Oh, okay.
It's like
Oh.
you paid for it in a way. When you buy a computer or a phone, you're paying for the technology and the company, and they're looking after things and they're updating things. Windows 11 is the future. So don't do it right
Mm.
now. I always recommend doing an update later in the day. When you don't need the computer, it takes an hour or two. You can contact us here at the shop if you need some guidance. But yes, if your computer can go to Windows 11, Rhonda, it's a good thing.
So I said decline, but can I
You can always
still go back and do it?
No, forever now, you'll have to call Bill Gates and get a special note. I'm sorry, but you can, yeah, I'm sorry, Hazel Harris knows. Yeah, Rhonda, you're gonna have to go to Seattle and talk to Bill Gates now, I'm sorry. Or Elon Musk or one of those kind of people, but yes, of course, Rhonda, you can reverse that, absolutely. It just means
Oh.
for the moment, absolutely. But it's a good
Right.
choice.
Because I have a Windows 10 and I cannot update mine to an 11.
And you're fine on Windows 10, but eventually it will be. I want to answer Russ's question. Going back to our passwords, what about LastPass? There's a couple of these password companies called LastPass or 1Password. I'm not a fan of them. They're third-party companies. They're not related to anything. I like Google. I put my trust in Google. That's why I recommended the Google Password Manager, Russ. I've been using Google for years. The stock is good. I trust them. And hey there, Linda Wilson. Ho, ho, ho. We've got one from Adrian H. How do I keep my emails from backing up, and how do I get rid of old emails approximately 1,400? Well, first of all, I think we know what you're going to be doing after everybody goes to bed on Christmas Eve. You're going to be sitting on your couch with your computer deleting.
Yes.
Now, emails are depending upon, Adrian, I don't know your service, whether it's Gmail, it's an old Hotmail account, or
It's Gmail.
So Gmail, how do you get it? Do you go to Gmail itself, like gmail.com on your website? How do you go to email?
I go on my laptop to get to my emails.
And you go to Google, you open up Google Chrome or something like that to go to Gmail?
Yes.
Okay, so let me share this with you. All Google users, could you do this? I'm going to go to Google. I'm going to go now to my mail. Does it look something like this?
Yes.
Yes, that's what it looks like.
So now what I can do, you can only see 50 per page here. Do you see that on the upper right?
Yes.
The max I could delete is I can click that top button and then put them in the trash. But once I do that, I've got to do the next 50.
Wow.
So, yeah, so I can go here and try to just get to the section that I want. It's hard. It's hard, I know. Don't let them get out of hand. The other section is I can go to all mail. That's like an archive. It's not double, it's just an archive, and I can try to just go back, and that has more junk in there.
There's
Other
no way,
ways-
there's no way to delete 1,400 in one fell swoop.
No, I have not found a way.
I wish. I'm running
What?
out of space. I keep getting
Right.
warning, you're running out of space. You have to buy more space. And I'm
Yeah,
like,
well, delete the emails first. And if you're a Google person, check your photos.
oh, I have a lot of photos
Yeah,
too.
that, the photos are probably taking up more room than anything, Adrian.
Oh,
Yeah. Let's look through those photos.
But
Yeah.
then I have a terabyte of memory in the computer. Can I put all my photos there?
See, that the idea about the computer is you have limited space, Ratna. That's where having a Google Photos account or an iCloud Photos account or a Dropbox Photos account comes in handy, because those photos and videos take up a lot of space, especially the videos. A little, even 32-second video of, your grandkid jumping on the trampoline is a big space, hog. So that's
It'll fill up a terabyte?
What's that?
It'll fill up a terabyte?
I've seen people fill up a terabyte, 300 gigabytes, 400 gigabytes of storage.
wow.
I mean, on videos, pocket videos, junk videos.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. But no, certainly if you manage it, a terabyte's a lot of storage, Ratna, and you could put videos on there.
No,
But
I mean pictures. I don't mean
pictures as well.
Yeah.
Pictures as well. Certainly you can manage your storage.
What about Dropbox?
Dropbox is just like the rest of them.
Well, I can't, someone told me they sent me a file and I can't seem to find the file, and they keep insisting that it's there. And I can't do my homework, and and I'm very frustrated. I feel like something's wrong with me.
Well, first of all, tell them, what is it, a document or a picture, something you're working on together?
Well, they send me a document, and they also send me recordings. Like if I miss a Zoom presentation, they record it, and I want to listen to what was said, and I don't even see that.
So your question for that person would say, please send me a link to the recording for the office meeting or church or whatever, whatever the topic is. And that person would respond to you with a link to click. So it can be complicated. So you want to say, please send me a link to the documents to review.
Is that dealing with the Dropbox?
Or Google Drive or anything. These days, you don't send the whole document, you send a link to click to be able to see the document.
Okay, I know when I started receiving things from some of the things I'm into for Dropbox, I had to establish an account with a
You
password
don't necessarily
in
have
order
to do
to
that.
open it up.
You don't have to do that. Folks, you don't, I know you can, Ms. Moore, but you don't have to make a Dropbox account. You can download a document. They have to send it to you in such a way that you can do that. So it gets confusing. So you can send that and say, please send me a link to the documents to review and see what you get back.
Okay.
I think it'll be more clear. Because sometimes people just forward a link and they're not really sure. But if you have that link, then Dropbox will allow you to listen. It'll give you the option to start an account, but you don't have to.
How do you delete all those recordings and documents that you have in your Dropbox once you're done with
Well,
them?
if you have a Dropbox account,
Yes.
who uses Dropbox here? So inside of Dropbox is pretty basic. Let me show you. You got to go into your Dropbox account first. You have to go to dropbox.com and log into your account.
Well, I have an app on my desktop. I just click on it. Is that the problem maybe? Do I have to sign in?
You have to sign in, exactly.
So if I don't sign in, I won't be able to get to the documents that they sent me?
No, we're just talking about deleting things.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, I'm in my account, but there's things I've signed in on the web, and now I can go to a document here and delete this document if I wanted.
Where is the delete? Oh, up there. Okay. I'm gonna try these. I'll try it.
Yeah, no, go to dropbox.com, Adrian, and go into your account, then go through everything within.
Okay, so I have to
Dropbox.com.
sign in the Dropbox.
Yeah, otherwise you're not connected and talking to where it's all really stored at the beginning.
Right, because on my Dropbox on my phone versus my laptop, there's some
You're probably signed
things
out.
on my phone that's not on my laptop. Oh,
You're probably
okay.
signed out. Yeah, you're probably signed out. That always happens.
So having the app on your desktop is not the same thing as logging in.
Exactly. You'd have to go and make sure that app on your desktop is presently logged in. I find it
Oh.
easier to go to Dropbox.com.
Just do it that way. Okay, okay.
I want to get to
Dropbox-
Voss.
Dropbox
Voss-
is pushing their service too. They are really pushing their service.
Mm-hmm.
I want to get to Voss right now. Voss
Okay.
contacts. You there,
Okay.
Voss?
Yeah, hi, hello, yeah.
So Voss, what kind of, so Voss is talking about how do you save a contact? This is a really good topic.
The thing is that sometimes my emails are going to the junk or spam. And then I was advised to use the contact box where they will be directed. In case I have the contacts, then they will not go to trash or spam.
So that sounds like a unique program. People should not go to spam or junk unless you direct it that way. Like, are you talking about when somebody emails you something and
Yes,
it goes to junk instead of?
in the inbox. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And how are you getting it? What's your email? The suffix, the at part, Voss at.
At yahoo.com.
Okay, so for example, I don't use Yahoo, but let me go and share my screen. So this does happen though, and I'm going to go to my Google account.
It happens a lot when they send over when they send a lot of emails, well, when they send it out to a lot of people at the same time.
Yeah, and when I send it's at momscomputer.com, I have to put a special code in the back end. They try their best. But let's say, here I am in you see my spam box here?
Yes.
Dan's Electronics is a company I've actually used. You can buy stuff from them. I've gotten stuff that I've needed on there. If I want to see that this is not junk anymore, you see this?
Yes.
Where?
Let me go right here. I'm looking at Dan's I see there's my spam folder.
Yes.
There's Dan's Electronics. I can take Dan's Electronics and move that to my inbox.
Oh,
That tells the computer that it's not junk anymore. If I manually move that over. So if I had an email that came from Voss at 123business.com and it went to my junk mail, I could manually move that to my inbox. And then it becomes not junk.
And another question, Elijah.
Mhm.
Some emails were going to trash and I took them to the inbox, but they are still going to trash. And they are addressed individually, like not spam or bulk. It is individual, maybe bulk, I say, but they are coming to trash. They go to trash.
And what
Not,
kind of emails are they?
they are like an organization, religious organization. They give the programs and other things. But for the last about 1 month or so, they are going to trash. And I have to drag them from the trash to the inbox.
So these are weird things that happen. And
Yeah,
this is
yeah,
a reason
yeah.
to use Gmail, Voss.
Yes.
So what happens often is we can go into a Yahoo account. And let's see if I can do that. And there are filters that come up. And who knows why they come up. So let's see if I can sign into this Yahoo account. No, I can't. So if you go into your Yahoo account,
Okay.
sometimes if you go into the options or settings, you have to see if there are any filters that somehow it could say no reply at churchgroup.org, newsletter.
Okay.
And somehow that got flagged as junk to send directly to trash.
Okay.
In the older services like Yahoo or AOL, they tend to do that a little more for some reason. They're trying to save space is what I think. So you have to go into Yahoo and then look for options. There'll be a section that'll say it filters or forwarding. And you can contact me in between. And we have to clear any filters or forwarding that's happening in there.
Okay, because I know that they can go to spam and I put them on not spam, they go in the inbox. But this was a very I have never seen things going to trash. I mean, this was the first time.
Yeah, and it's often those, older emails get clunky, with your storage. And Yahoo now has like a paid service, I think, when you go on there, Voss, to pay them. But feel free to get a hold of me in between. This is a good one to look at. But I bet there's a filter on there, Voss, that's forwarding certain emails, calling them junk, blocked emails, things of that nature.
Yeah,
Oh, thank you.
I know that you can say block these email and delete them every time, and sometimes it seems to work and sometimes it doesn't.
Because if it's a junk email, they change the back end of the email address. We'll talk about scams in a moment. Hey, folks, take a stretch. It's been an hour and 10 minutes. We're going to get to our holiday tech party in a moment. And look at the people we're going to be partying with here.
Before you leave,
We got a
Yahoo,
long time to go.
before you leave Yahoo,
Mhm,
Eli,
mhm.
I get a message every now and then because I have Yahoo email, and it'll say my password is on overload. Is that when they're trying to want me to change where they would charge me?
Yahoo is a very paid for company now, not like Google or Spectrum per se. So they have a lot of products they're trying to sell you. They have paid
That was a
support,
scam.
and that's what happens when an email gets older. But doesn't mean you need to change. It doesn't mean you just leave them. You just don't need to take the bait. You just don't need to take the bait. Folks, we're going to have some trivia questions. Take a stretch. We have some more things I want to share with you. And first, though, and nobody Googled this, one of our trivia questions, and we're going to get to it in a little, is, you see, who remembers the aluminum Christmas tree? That was a technological advancement.
Yeah, one.
There we are. Those are our hosts this Christmas. The question will be, what year was the first aluminum Christmas tree sold in the United States? Don't figure it out now. We're going to get to that in a little bit. Okay. Anybody else before we move on to our next tech topic, which is going to be something I really want to talk to everybody about, and that's about deleting unused apps on the phone. Let's talk about questions. Anybody got any random hot topic Christmas questions that you've been holding back that I've missed?
Well, what about the QR
Toss
code?
them at me.
How about the QR code? I was just at Smart and Final and wanted to use a coupon, and they said, use the QR code, and
Who
then
knows what a QR code is? It's a great question. Everybody's using them. Who
Then-
knows what a QR? Did Linda, do you put your hand up? Do I see any QR coders over there? So do you
That's
know,
that box, like a digital box that you take a picture with your camera, right? And then it pops up whatever restaurant or menu or whatever you're at.
Yeah.
Exactly,
The
let me show
stores
you.
are using those on their flyers so
Hey,
that
let
you
me
can get
show
the
you this.
discounts and not go one by one items.
Exactly. So this
It
is what a
usually
QR
goes
code
to a website.
is. You see
exactly.
this?
And then you have to
Yeah.
sign into the website and
You
get
see
another
this?
passcode.
You see these little pictures? That's a QR code. So what that is,
Stands for quick response, I think.
right, perfect, exactly right. It's a shortcut to get to an item, to a website, to a menu, to a PDF, to a document. The old days, you'd open up your Safari browser on your phone, you type in www. so on, and then you go there. All it is a quick shortcut. So when you went to the store, they want you to take your camera on your phone, and that means open up the camera app on your phone. So you're aiming it at someone, not at you, aiming it away, point it at that little item. At that point, you'll see a little window pop up that you can tap with your finger. For those of know the COVID restaurant stuff, you could go and that will take you then to the menu of the restaurant. Or coupons, it would take you to the coupon. It'll show you the coupon. Then you'll show the coupon to the cashier. Who's talking?
Yes,
This is Carmen.
you saw that.
Where in the world is Carmen?
Right now, she's in Smith's grocery store, and I was trying to address the QR question since I was in the store.
Mhm.
Basically, explain that when you do the QR, when they have sales in the grocery store, and you have to use a QR code to access the discount, what they want you to do is they're trying to get you to set up a loyalty account with them, and they're tracking your purchases and stuff, and then that's how they give you the great discounts, and that's how they give you targeted coupons upon checkout.
Carmen, first
So-
of all,
That's right.
Carmen,
Huh?
it's great to see you, Carmen. You look amazing, even with the mess there at Smith's. What's for dinner? What's for dinner? You gonna
Just
buy something for
soup.
everybody?
So
Okay,
so
very good. Carmen,
it-
Carmen.
I'm a soup.
So-
I'm a soup period.
Who used to walk around with that grody little plastic card on their keychain that would swipe, at the Ralph's, you get the discount. You remember that thing? That
Yeah.
ding ding. I liked it. It made a funny noise. Now you can put your phone number if you go to these self-checkout, in the credit card stand. I think the Carmen is 100% right. That QR code is just a digital replacement for that kind of old physical media, so it's no different, obviously. And I think what the future is, by the way, here's a tech guess. About 3 years ago, don't even go. This is like Woodstock. Somebody had brought their baby to our tech party. This is amazing. What you talk about that little, the QR code is just a way to aggregate it, but the Amazon has stores now. And I went to about 3 years ago, an experimental one where there's no, and I think this is coming, there's no cash or credit card. Everything's paid for in advance. You go to the store, you put it in your cart, you put it in your bag, and you roll out. And everything is monitored and prepaid. When you walk in, there's no more anything. You just take it and leave. And I think this is on the way to that. Just no more shoplifting. It'll be impossible. Anyway, here's my phone. Getting to George's query or anyone's query. The best way to clean your phone, the one like you do boring at the airport when you're traveling, is first open your camera. You can do that on an iPhone or an Android. The camera's just going to be right there. And in the bottom, usually you'll see a little snapshot. That'll be the most recent ones. You see? Look at that. That's a recent one of an ashtray. Here's another one of the back of a computer that I was trying to take a picture of just to get code to fix it. And then I'm going to delete that because I don't need that. I took it again. It was blurry. I took it again. It was blurry. Here's some pictures from a party. Here's a vent that I need to clean out at a rental. Here's a G drive. So a lot of these I don't need. I don't need this anymore. So one of the main things that you can do, that's my studio stuff, is open your camera, go to the bottom. Does everybody see their little photo app? Open your little photo app, and there's some funny pictures. And I could delete these. And this is usually where lots of stuff lives that you don't need. So that's my first call of order on your phone. Even George, you want to save photos. The first thing you want to do is go to your camera and delete the little shots that you didn't need to have. Secondly, on an Android, if you're not a Google user, you can go to your gallery. There, in your gallery, it's very good at delineating things. There's a screenshots. Now, these are screenshots I took that I probably don't even need. I don't know what that is. These are just screenshots that aggregated on my phone. And I can delete a majority of them. There's my cat Chomsky. Didn't make it through the year.
That's an ugly cat.
In heaven now.
You say she's 16 years old or so?
17.
17. Oh, look at that. Oh my goodness.
So there's my mom. But the point is, you can go through these, George, on your phone and get rid of what you don't need. That would be choice number one. Now, your next case, as we were discussing, is you would be able to plug this into your phone, into your computer, and then open up the Photos app in your Windows 10 or 11 experience and share those. I alternatively use Google Photos. I find it a little more proficient. So I'm going to open up my Google Photos app. I think it's in there. And there are Google Photos. And so it's mirroring my phone. What makes this easier for me is that now I can go off of here, and whatever I've done on my phone, I can go to google.com on my computer and see the same exact things, and then work with them on there.
Did you transport them to your computer off your phone?
No, it's automatic. What happens is, let me close out of here and get out of Zoom. What happens is when you've signed up with Zoom, with Google, you give permission for Google to see your photos and then put them in the cloud. So they can go on the cloud and be removed from the phone.
But I don't have the cloud.
If you have a Google account, it comes with a cloud account. That's what Google is. Everything works on the cloud.
The
It's
cell
party
phone
time.
does that automatically.
Say that again? It does it automatically if you give it that, if you give that permission.
The salesperson does it automatically and doesn't ask you that question because that would involve too great a discussion and too much thinking involved.
Okay, okay. I was thinking I didn't have the cloud because I also have that Microsoft.
Yep. And by the way, Ms. Moore, everything's the cloud. Your television's the cloud, your telephone's the cloud. Everything is up there. It's scary, isn't it? All right, who's ready for our Christmas party and some presents?
It's definitely scary. I was wondering, how did all these pictures show up on my brand new tablet the first time I got it and realized that it had copied the pictures over, or it was Google that had all the pictures on it already.
Yeah. And this way, by the way, and who remembers trying to send an email and it would say file too big? You know, you couldn't send that video. It was too big. So
Elijah,
now-
I have a question, Elijah.
Please.
I don't know if you got to see that, but
Right.
when you were on the QR code, I'm
Uh-huh.
just wondering, when scanning the QR code with your smartphone, would the QR code website capture and store your smartphone number? That means you share your smartphone number with them, right?
No, it doesn't share, but this is a deep question. We've done this before. You have a number that identifies you, Ellen.
That's
It's
right.
not your phone number to them. It's called your IP address.
Yes, IP address.
And so your IP address is the address of your Wi-Fi or the device. For example, I'm on Google, right? I'm on, I've done this for fun before. I'm on the computer with you.
Right.
It's public. So I'm gonna go, what's my IP address? See that crazy number there?
Yes.
That's what they would get from you. It's not, they wouldn't get Ellen's at 818-123-45678.
Okay.
That doesn't go through.
But would
Okay.
they be able to start sending you email then, advertising? the store?
So they get the IP address, so
Right.
that identifies my phone.
Yeah, and what they'll do is they won't, it's not a bad thing. It's impossible not to do it. You get in your car and you drive with the phone. Your IP address is hitting towers everywhere. That's how your phone knows when you go Chinese or pizza delivery. You know, it shows up in your neighborhood, Whittier, there 2 blocks away. You know, like we're being tracked. That's the point of it. That's just the nature of our devices. What means is that if you use the QR code and you're somewhere and you're at a gift shop and you look at a handbag, sounds pretty cliche, but go with me. And then all of a sudden you start getting handbag ads on your phone. You know, you just go to a normal website, you start seeing, you know, shopping for that subject or that whatever that thing you were looking for. That's how the internet works.
Right, right. I see. So it's not really sharing personal information except the IP address, but IP address identify your phone.
Identify your phone and in general likes and look, and they do it by not one person at a time. They do it by 4,000 people at a time. You know what I mean?
Elijah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Elijah, I know that when I'm on searching Amazon, for example, and that pretty soon you'll see ads coming up on Facebook.
Yeah.
For the things that you looked at or places that you visited.
I went to I was in New York for some work. We're gonna finish soon, Crystal, I promise. We're just hanging with it's our end of the year party. We don't want to
No,
leave.
Radna still has her hand up.
Yeah, we're
too.
gonna get around now. So anyway, I went to I was working there. I do like tech at some offices. And I went past the 9/11 museum. I'd never been there. I walked around the reflecting pools. And so donations started coming on my phone everywhere I went.
Wow.
Nothing wrong. I mean, per se, it spot my phone and they knew, and donations for stuff started by, it was a very special, somber place to be, by the way, but that's how it works. You know, that's just how, that's how you get.
There's no way we can block that, Elijah, and stop that
No.
from happening?
There is
Good
really
question,
no way.
Crystal,
There's no way.
Oh,
because I ordered from Macy through my account.
Yeah.
Some jewelry. And the next thing, it also popped up in my email as an ad, what I was looking at to order.
That's the price of this convenience, Crystal, of not picking up your phone and having your little brother on the other phone in the other room, listening to your, you know what I mean? This is the convenience of what all this is for sale.
That's what I was gonna say. It's kind of like pick your poison. You
Pick your
want
poison.
the electronic, and the technology, but yet you're also saying everything you're doing and buying.
Yeah.
I find that's Google for you. Google know everything about us.
Let me tell you,
Right?
it was before Google. Long before we blamed the big boogeyman Google. Long before it was Google. The first one was the United States military, garnering information of everybody going in and tabulating that on punch cards, and then learning the habits, not for war, for habits of people, and then selling that after World War II, saying these soldiers come home, they want homes. They learned about the habits of people. And it was a punch card. The aggregating and mining data from people goes back to ancient Rome. It's an ancient art to understand.
Elijah, are you talking about the data processing cards that you punch holes in? You sit
Old
there.
days and those data, it's all that is.
I was a key punch operator before they made it data
Fine.
processing, and I was a key punch verifier. And
So the
guess
point-
what? Them cards, the ones that went in the trash, we made Christmas wreaths out of.
So this is my point, but thank you for that. My point is, use this technology to make your life easier and you ignore the rest. Now, here's the beautiful thing about the internet. Everything costs money. Everything every pop-up that comes up with that Macy's handbag, Macy's is paying to get in front of Hazel's Harris's eyes, or Joseph and Naomi's eyes, or Betty Smith's eyes, or Peggy Buck's eyes, or Brenda Brubaker, or Hazel Small. It's paying. If you see it, if Fred Kong sees an ad come up for a fishing pole, it's because somebody paid for Fred. Fred showed an interest in fishing poles. It's not free. So if you don't engage that, if you don't click that, if you delete that, it comes less.
Yeah.
So you do have a role in all this. Before we go on, let's get to some of our trivia. Ratna, you have a question before we.
Elijah,
Yeah, a quick question.
Yes.
Did you mean to say that the best way to delete the photos is going to the Google Photos?
On my phone, the way that I like to do it, the quick, easy way,
Uh-huh,
is go to my camera app. I open the camera.
uh-huh.
In the
And
camera,
see
there's a little
photos.
icon, like a thumbnail with all, you tap on, you can see the most recent photos.
Uh-huh.
And then I delete through there, because usually if I can do that every couple of days, I'm keeping up. You know what I mean? I'm
Oh.
the junky photos I've taken.
Oh, and finally, if I want to transfer them to my computer, then do I do it from the gallery
So
or?
are you using Google Photos?
No, I don't know but I have Google Photos.
So if the way you would do it with Google Photos is
Huh.
make sure it's turned on. And
Oh,
then you just go to google.com. You can go on your computer, google.com, sign into the account, your same account, and look at the Google Photos app and see if they're there. It should be very easy.
oh, okay.
Or the manual way is to
Huh.
plug the phone into the computer and
Huh.
open the Photos application.
Okay.
I'm here to help you between classes, Roth. I'm here to help everybody with all these little issues.
okay, Elijah, when I want to send the photos from my cell phone, it says cannot be sent exceeding 25 MB.
That's because you're sending the actual raw photo. It's above 25 megabytes. So you want to have that photo, let's say, in your Google Photos app. And then you can go open the picture in the Google Photos app and the word will be share. And then you can share that photo and it'll say, put in Elijah's email or put in Irene's email or put in Carmen Hawkins' email. And you're sharing a link. It's stored in iCloud, not on your phone. And we're all going to, let's boss is having a party for everybody in class, 200 people, but his house can't fit 200 people. So he's renting a catering hall. So he's sending an invitation out saying, everybody, the party is on Saturday night, it's Christmas Eve, but it's at so-and-so catering hall. So we're all going to that place. He's sending the invitation, but the place the party is located has enough room for everybody. So when you send that picture out to Linda Wilson and Gloria Olivas and Hazel Smalley and Rathna Jones, then you're just sending it to go to that place, go to the catering hall, if that makes any sense.
Yes, thank you.
And that's how it works now. That's
Thank you.
how it all works, and who has a Ring camera? Who has a camera in their house? Works the same way. When it's not live. It's not like I'm holding the camera and I'm going, we're live here at the scene and we're looking at the pictures, and it's taking a picture in bytes of time of the area, uploading it to a cloud, and then putting it back on your computer or your phone or your app very quickly. It's not real. It's not time. It's taking it, moving it, and then moving it back around. All right, it's party time. Time to get the eggnog out. It is after class. We got to send Crystal home eventually and Betty Smith home. Let's have some fun. Who wants Starbucks gift cards? You have your winners have a choice between Starbucks gift cards or Amazon gift cards. Okay, so let's do question number one. Has everybody got their tech chops up? And is everybody going to come here in January when it's cold and gray and we're all alone and the party's not on? I know Linda Wilson's with me. She's my best sidekick. We're like Raiders of the Lost Ark together. I don't know about the rest of you. Jeanette, you're going to be with us, Jeanette? Do I get a thumbs up?
Be there.
Oh, good. Let's, Rathna,
Yeah,
what about
Sure.
Fred Kong? You're coming back in January, Fred? All right,
I'll
we got a
be here.
positive for Fred. And we want Betty Smith will be there. Uma, are you going to be there?
Yeah.
All right, everybody's gonna be, that means we have to do good. Let's go to question number one. Are you ready? We're gonna put these answers, nobody Google. Voss is watching. Voss has special camera force here. So let me share my screen and here we go. These are fat gift cards, okay? I'm not telling you the amount, but this is more than just a weeny little, teeny little cup of coffee. Here we go. Question number one. Let me open this up. Let me get to the question number one. Here we go. What year was the aluminum Christmas tree manufactured? There was a year. There was a year. It was first offered by like, what were the big stores today? Montgomery Ward, Sears Roebuck. You remember those stores? Put it in the chat. The year the aluminum Christmas tree was put on the manufacturer in the United States. Everybody looks happy, but the lady in the blue dress doesn't look so happy. She wants the real Christmas tree. Plenty of presents though.
Okay.
But the Christmas trees are still in a
Oh,
landfill
I
somewhere.
can't
All
see
right,
them.
let's go to the chat.
Wait a minute, wait a minute. Wait a
We
minute,
are-
wait a minute. Okay,
All right, we're waiting on
They
Jeanette.
won't type.
We're waiting on Jeanette. Take your time.
I did it, I did it.
My
Everybody's
computer
aware.
won't type.
Yeah,
Who said that? Who can't type?
I can't, Rhonda.
Rhonda, what's your year, Rhonda? We'll write it down.
Oh, 1939.
oh.
What a year. Okay, are you ready? The bidding is closed. The
I went
answer,
to
folks,
1958 to 1959 because we had one when I was growing up.
Are you ready?
Did.
Here's the answer. You really, Miss Moore, you had an aluminum Christmas tree?
Yeah, yeah, when I was growing up.
Here we go. You see the answer?
Oh, my
Aluminum
goodness.
Christmas trees were first manufactured commercially around
1955.
55.
Oh, my goodness, I won, I won.